Venezuela is in its fifth year of recession. The country's president, Nicolas Maduro, came to power in 2013. Around 120 people were killed during 2017 in anti-government protests. The International Monetary Fund forecasts that inflation will hit 13,000% by the end of this year. Most Venezuelans crossing the Simón Bolívar Bridge are fleeing their country for food and medicine. Cúcuta is the principal border point into Colombia, with up to 40,000 people passing every day. This lady has arrived with acute appendicitis. She has made it just in time. Many stories don't end this well. On the Venezuelan side of the border, crumbling hospitals are at breaking point. In mid-2017, the Red Cross, funded by the EU Humanitarian Aid Office, set up a reception facility next to the bridge in a bid to alleviate a crisis it says has largely been ignored.
The
Red Cross has been opening and closing this post every morning and night as a way to raise our hand and say, something is happening here and we need to draw attention to this. It's an invisible crisis on both sides.
Invisible de los dos lados.
3 nurses and a doctor are always on duty in the first aid tent. Many people come with chronic diseases that need simple, cheap medicine, which is no longer available in Venezuela. There are also cancer patients desperate to restart treatment, as well as the malnourished.
We are providing assistance to a person who fainted. We brought him here and it looks like he's suffering from malnutrition. Every day we treat 5 or 6 cases of malnutrition.
The Red Cross post is located next to the migration office, where over 3,000 migrants queue daily to have their passports stamped. Many have taken days to cross the border. Getting in touch with their families is a priority.
The Colombian Red Cross offers a family contact service. You can come by and connect to the internet. The first thing was charging the phone to call our family. We haven't heard from them for 4 days. The guards on the Venezuelan side are charging $10 per person to stamp the passport. If you don't have it, the queue lasts for days and days and days. This has to be done for free. You cannot charge for it.
Faced with this massive influx of migrants, Colombia has called for international help. The EU's Commissioner for Humanitarian Aid recently visited Cúcuta. He announced Europe would be providing €2 million to Venezuela and $6 million to Colombia.
Does Colombia have the means to face this crisis, and how can the EU help?
For Colombian authorities, it's a huge challenge to deal with this unprecedented situation. They face also their challenges in their country about the reconciliation process and peace process. So our humanitarian aid is going in both sides, inside Venezuela and inside Colombia. Especially in Venezuela, we are trying a lot in order to find ways to provide, in particular, medicines and to find projects to deal with acute malnutrition.
Venezuelan families are constantly settling in Cúcuta. Illegal migrants with no documents are moving into the city's deprived neighbourhoods. The Norwegian Refugee Council, with EU aid, is organising activities for 500 children not in school. The aim is to get them back into the classroom.
Children can now have access to the schools, but their right to enrol doesn't mean they'll be able to study. That's because many of these children live irregularly in the country. Their parents have no documents enabling access to any kind of legal right inside Colombia. What does this mean? It means, for example, that these kids don't receive any certificate when they finish the school year.
Some 4,100 Venezuelan pupils are registered at school in the department of Norte de Santander. Adriana's daughters are among them. The family settled illegally in Cúcuta 3 years ago. In Venezuela, Adriana was a nurse and says she had a normal life. Her daughters and nephew had to wait 1 year before they could go to school.
The children are managing to study regularly in terms of their documents, but financially it's not normal. It's not easy to maintain 3 children at school when you're a foreigner without documents. If you manage to get food, how is it possible to buy items like school uniforms, shoes? That's very difficult.
It's estimated that 230,000 illegal migrants live in Cucuta. The UNHCR is working with the government to try to register them and improve their conditions both on arrival and long term.